Hey guys, Travis Gillespie. We're looking at slope, and let's actually take a look at a real world application where you can see the power of slope and see the rate of change. In the big pictures, you'll begin to realize that it gives you information to see how things are changing. So the graph represents the value of a computer after X months. Find the slope of the line and explain what the slope represents. And you see that actually when you purchase the computer, yeah, the price is pretty high on that computer, but as time goes on, in fact, by the time you get to the door, the price of your computer is obsolete. Your computer's obsolete, so the value of the computer drops. But as time goes on, you're going to realize, hey, the value of that computer drops. And yeah, like as by the time you get to your car, by the time you get to the door, they're trying to sell you a new computer. So realistically, that might not be true, but I mean it's pretty darn close. They're already pushing the new products by the time the new season rolls around. So let's see if you can model this with a straight line and then actually find the slope. Well, slope's going to be the change in the y's followed by the change in the x's. So let's actually take this point down here, 600, and I'll put in the x, y2, and I'm going to take 1200 and subtract from it. In my y1, and then in my x2 I'll put 24, and my x1 I'll put 12. So I'm going to say, hey, 600 minus 1200, that gives me negative 600 over 24 minus 12, which is 12. So I get negative 100 over 2, or a rate of negative 50. So notice here that the slope here is negative 50. Does that actually make sense? And yes, because as the x moves to the right, the y goes down, the slope goes down. And negative slopes, that's what ends up happening. In fact, if your answer ended up being a positive 50, and you notice the graph was going down, you'd probably say, wait a second, does that make sense? And no, you wouldn't. So a good thing to do is say, hey, once you get your answer, check it and say, does this make sense? In this case, negative 50 does make sense. Because as x goes on, the y values drop. Scratch your head if necessary and ask, hey, does this make sense? As x is falling, the value drops. Or as I said, x is falling. As x is increasing, the value drops. Now the follow-up is, does this make sense? Scratch that. Now the follow-up is, what does this represent? Well, what this tells you is that, hey, as time goes on each month, the value of this computer drops by $50 each month. So the value of the computer drops $50 per month. So you could actually see the value of slope in applications of your everyday world. That's pretty cool.